It's 10 a.m. in the UK, it's 5 a.m. on the East Coast, and it's different times around the world. And this is Stephen, and it's welcome to Blabbing for Britain, episode 126. Now, normally on Blabbing for Britain, you'd see 4 of us. At the moment, there's just me. So we'll wait and see what happens. But if you're watching the replay, welcome to the Blabbing for Britain replay. And this is all about UK news and stories. So that's what it's all about. That's what we do. I'll let that run through once more. Say good morning, Tish. And I'm going to say good morning to somebody else in a moment as well. I hope. Fingers crossed. I know Stephen's not with us today. I know that Peter is still on holiday, and we'll just have to see how it goes. We've got plenty of stories. I'll give you my view on them, take your questions on them, and we'll see what happens there. So that's that. And the other thing I've got to do this morning is, if I can find it, is good morning to anybody watching on the TVSN network in Ontario. So good morning to our Canadian friends and welcome to the broadcast. But most of all, welcome, Tish. It's good to see you, and I'm hoping that I will be joined by Mr. John. Oh, speak of it. As soon as you went back to mention his name, all of a sudden he wakes up, adjusts his camera, combs his hair, polishes. Yeah, it's good. We say good morning to the venerable Mr. John Upton. Good morning. And we have no sound. I guess you'll be back in a minute. Right, okay, this is live video. And Mr. Upton has no sound at the moment. So this is, when I find it again, Blabbing for Britain, episode 126 with myself and John Upton. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me this time?
Yes, we can. All good. Yeah, it's always the second try is a good one. And Tish is saying, Grandpa Stephen must be in grandbaby heaven. Well, we're not saying. I'm not making a comment on that. I know he's extremely happy is the phrase that I would use. Yeah, but we did hear from him yesterday. He left us a bit of a mystery, and we've no idea what he's talking about. So we'll ask him to explain it on next week's show. Yeah.
It was
anyway,
a weird comment.
Sorry?
It was a weird comment.
It was something about Chinese, wasn't it?
Something about Chinese something or other. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't make head and tail of it, and he was obviously. I'm glad it wasn't just me then. Yeah, what was the phrase he used? An old Chinese curse. Well, there you go. And hi, John. Good to see you from Tish. Good. I'm good. Glad John's here too.
Now,
right, where do we start?
One word of warning.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a phone call this morning. And
okay.
I will take it because I'm afraid my doggy's not very well.
Okay. Right,
a lump appeared over the weekend on the leg, and it is the size of 2/3 of an average orange. It has literally appeared overnight. We took it to the vets.
Yeah.
The vets said, well, she's fine in herself, but we don't really know what this lump is. They took some samples out of it. I'm afraid they came back to us yesterday and said it's a cancerous growth. Right. And because it's so big, they've referred us to a cancer specialist. And they said they would contact me this morning. So just in case the phone rings, I'm leaving it on.
Right. Understood. Where shall we start? After that?
Well, how big Sam has made another 6 million for doing bugger all.
Everton. Well, Everton. I mean, Everton finished 8th. Just to say, Burnley finished 7th. Everton finished 8th in the league. I mean, you're talking about I mean, how are they going to actually get higher? Well, get higher than Burnley, but how are you going to get ahead of Man City, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham Hotspur? You know.
Well, Mr. Moshiri will have to put his hand very deep in a pocket to achieve that.
Yeah, you've got to put a lot. I mean, that's what happened at City, isn't it? I mean, City came from the lower depths or mid regions and spent a ton of money on new players, and they got the right blend in the end. They went through a couple of managers there, didn't they?
Yeah, but nonetheless, money talks. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the only way I can see to get better than 7th or 8th is to spend a lot of money. I mean, let's face it, Burnley got to 7th without spending a fortune.
Oh, true.
But that's about as high as you can get without shelling out big money.
Yeah, the wage bill for the whole team is probably the same as the wage bill for one of Man United's players. So, yeah. Anyway, talking of football, I misspelled this slightly, but never mind. The England squad for the World Cup has been announced, because that's pretty near now. I mean, that's in June, and we're off to Russia, and we've got a good goalkeeper. That's all I'm saying.
He's third. He'd probably get a play if the other two get injured.
Is he in the squad? And there are two Burnley players.
26-year-old, isn't it?
Yeah.
26 in the squad as a goalkeeper.
Yeah, he used to be a milkman.
Yeah, I've read all those stories.
Yeah, he's got an excellent backstory. I wish him well, and I hope the other two don't get injured, but I do hope he gets his chance to play in the World Cup, and I hope that England make it through to the quarterfinals.
I'm really pleased with the team. I think the team is a really good selection. There's some good, steady, older players, and there's some youngsters, and we're never going to get anywhere if we keep playing steady Eddie. Yeah?
True. Got to take risks. Yeah. I need somebody.
No, I think the team is a really good selection.
Right. Now, talking of teams and teamwork and actually doing things properly, brings us to the East Coast Rail Line, which runs between London and up north. It goes right. Yeah, it goes beyond. Yeah, it goes beyond there as well. It's essentially it is London to Edinburgh and Glasgow, but our rail. Right. Okay. How do I explain this? Railtrack is owned by the government, and they own the railway tracks that the trains run on. And Railtrack promised that they would upgrade the line between London and Edinburgh so that the operators who paid £3.3 billion for the rights could run more trains. And Tenerife calling, Senior Peter. They then said that they were supposed to run it profitably. It is profitable, but they're not getting the traffic that they thought.
Well, they're supposed to have lost millions of pounds, haven't they? Because they can't run the high-speed tracks.
Yeah.
Well, who's joining us? Oh my God!
Hola. Say good morning to Tenerife. Hola. ¿Cómo está?
You're on holiday. Great. Bugger off.
Great. Chilling by the pool. Hold on. Yeah.
Right, we're going for a tour of the pool.
No, it's okay.
Okay. How's this relaxing, Lark? How's it working out?
It's been difficult. I stayed one day at the beach, and can you hear me okay?
Oh, surely, yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. I stayed one day at the beach, the whole day. Oh, that was hard. Because, but it's been great. I feel good. I've been cycling. I've been driving all over the island, walking. Just had a nice time. Spent a lot of money. That's the only problem. Everything's dear. Yeah. it's been great. It's been nice to relax. Yeah, lovely jubbly.
When do you fly back? Are you coming back?
Well, I'm flying back tonight. So
right.
we're here all day and then we fly back tonight. But you know, even I put a front page message thing on my website, and every day I've had something in. And even I was woken up by someone phoning me direct this morning from a website. But no, it's been okay. It's been very busy actually. The guys have been very busy. But it's been great. Yeah, really needed the break. You know.
Okay.
Needed
Now you're someone who uses the East Coast line, aren't you?
Virgin are in my area. I do like using the train, but we've never really had the difficulties that I've heard about, you know. But taking it back into, if it goes back into government ownership, it's a difficult one. The privates just aren't working out. It's too fragmented.
Indeed.
And, I think it needs to go back into public hands and
Has done.
and yeah, well, the whole network.
I totally agree with that, Peter. It's a nonsense at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you've got.
I never ever agreed with water, electricity, and transport, the essentials of life, going into private hands. Never agreed to it.
It's not just private hands; it's foreign hands as well.
Yeah. Well, up in Aberdeen, we've got First Bus Group. Have you heard of them?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the old Grampian Regional Council, and some of them done very well out of it when they got their shares. Yeah.
Okay.
And they've turned into a world conglomerate, and there is no competition in Aberdeen for buses. None whatsoever. They can charge what they like.
Yeah. Well, there's no competition really in Wiltshire. Anyway, just keeping on the train thing for a moment. Story broke this morning. I think so. Japanese train departed the station 25 seconds early, and people complained. Japanese trains are renowned for leaving dead on time. And this driver of this train thought he was due out at 11 minutes past, but he wasn't. He was due out at 12 minutes past. And this obviously being early. I mean, being early is worse than being as bad as being late, isn't it?
It actually is, and just first thing to say is, I hope there were no German tourists there. I'd like to be a time. But I can tell you, as a young bus driver, I was out in a country run, and it was so boring. And you actually had to sit and wait for your time out in the country. And I got bored and I was restless. And everybody just sits in the bus waiting. And I left about 30 seconds before my time. Can't even remember what it was now.
Right.
And next night when I come round, the passenger come on and says, "What happened to the bus last night?" I says, "What do you mean?" He says, "I left early." He says, "I couldn't get back home." I says, "I'll have a word with him. I know who he is. I won't let him do that again." But it meant so much to our rural community, and I never ever run early again. Run late, but not early.
Yeah. Kelvin's been having some trouble with buses, John.
Yeah, when he works the late afternoon shift, he sometimes can't get a bus home.
So, I mean, as we said, Japanese trains are renowned for being totally efficient. And
we can't see it, fortunately. It's just a blob.
Is it?
Just a minute. Go full screen, Peter. What we're looking at. Just let me take that off screen.
Coffee.
Stracto.
Okay.
Not Costa.
All right. And now to the meme of the week. What do you hear? Yanni or Laurel? Have you tried it?
No, I got better things to do. It's like the dress. Is it blue or gold?
Well, it's only a short clip. I mean, yeah, okay. Anyway, just for the record, I heard Yanni and the other people. Not a small percentage are actually hearing the word laurel when it's spoken. Have you seen it at all, Peter?
What I want about.
Ah, right. Okay, good question. Somebody's done a piece of audio, and depending where you are in the hearing range, you can hear a different word.
All right, okay.
So, the majority of the population hear one word, and others hear this different word from the same piece of audio. Rather strange. Yeah, as John said, it's a bit like the dress thing. It's obviously some psychological trick. But in this case, it's just a test of hearing range.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. This is Blabbing Forbidden, episode 126, with myself in Wiltshire, John is in Solihull, and Peter is somewhere in Spain. Well, not actually in Spain, he's actually on an island close to Spain.
Tenerife.
Okay. Right, okay. Now, I want to take you both back to your school exams. Well, don't have to retake them, obviously, because it's a bit late now. But watches have been or smartwatches have been banned in GCSE examinations.
Yeah.
Pupils are not allowed to take their watches in.
Yeah, quite right too.
I agree with this. I mean, we weren't allowed to take calculators in back in the day. You okay, John?
Yes, I was looking. I've got a pile that was about to fall off the shelf.
Oh, right. Self-preservation. Okay. Yeah, I mean, banning watches is a good idea. What I didn't realise was that you can actually buy watches, smartwatches, with a secret compartment. And that secret compartment contains your crib notes.
Blimey,
Yeah?
that's pretty much disgusting, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's cheating an exam. What's the point? Who are you fooling?
Yeah.
Self.
Yeah, exactly. You're
I'm
fooling
going to
yourself.
open my window.
Okay.
Trouble is, if you don't know a subject, you'll get caught out in the end.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I totally agree.
Talking of school,
Yeah.
I'm still sorting through all the crap that I inherited from my mother and father's. But here's my class from 1967.
Wow.
And here's the archery club from 1967.
Archery.
Right, can you show the first one again, John? And then we'll go to full screen. Right, where are you?
Oh, blimey. The one above my finger.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I've been looking for. There's a Nelson Grammar School website, and I've been hoping that somebody'd post a photo from the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah. I keep meaning to scan them and put them on Facebook, but I haven't got around to it.
Yeah, my mum's probably got a copy.
Yeah.
Like your mum and dad did. Yeah. Okay. Where shall we go from here? Oh, we've done some on dice. I actually had that on the list, John. So we've already spoke about football, Peter. You're okay.
Oh, right. Thank you.
But there are other football topics we could talk about, though.
Okay. No, there are.
Sorry, Peter.
Right. Okay. Now this is. I've got two stories on this, but nationally, fewer crimes are actually resulting in a charge. So, in other words, a crime is committed. The person who committed it is found, but they are not charged. And this is leading to, obviously, distraught people who actually have a crime committed against them, whether it be burglary or injury, or our thoughts on that. Is this the right way to be headed?
You might as well disband in the police force and say to the criminals, get on with it, sort it out, sort society out, and whatever's left after the aftermath, that's what we'll have to live with.
Yeah. I mean, it's not being chased.
Ridiculous.
Right. And the other side of the coin is rural police could routinely carry guns. Now, put this in context. There are 6,500 policemen who are trained to use guns in the UK out of a total police force of 115,000. So that's a very small percentage. It's around about 2%.
Yeah.
What they're saying now is that they can't recruit enough policemen in rural areas. So therefore, they're going to, because of terrorism and the potential threat of terrorism in rural areas, they're going to start training rural police to carry guns. Again, it's had a step in the right direction.
It's the modern society we live in. It's got to be done because we've done it in Northern. It's been done before because of terrorism. Northern Ireland, every policeman, not every, but practically every policeman carried a gun for their own protection and for others' protection, and we need to do it.
And I'm totally the opposite. I much prefer my policeman not to have a gun.
I think in an ideal world, yeah, but there is a potential threat.
When we arm our policemen, we give the perpetrators of crime even more reason to be armed.
Right.
Did you see the famous one this week in Brazil, where the policewoman who was off duty collecting her kids from a nursery, and the guy come up and tried to rob him. He's lying dead now because she shot him. He tried to come up and rob him. And I'm afraid it's the society we live in. I'm over in Spain just now. Policemen have all got guns.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a shot fired since I've been here.
But they have them just in case.
Yes. Yeah. So here's you in a little market town, and somebody decides, I'm going to run amok here. There's no policeman for miles. In fact, there's one on his own. I'll shoot him. But if he turned round and said, make my day, punk, then it wouldn't be the same for him, would it?
No. Well, there's an element of that, but there's also the terrorist threat. Now, whether actually carrying a gun would actually stop a bombing or not, I don't know. But
It's not going to stop a bombing.
Very difficult one. Right, okay, now.
In the South Wales Police Commission, Police Chief Constable, he wants to have not a gun on every policeman, but a taser on every policeman. He wants to equip his entire force with a taser because he thinks that's the way to tackle violent crime.
Violent crime, but not terrorism. That's our biggest threat.
Perhaps it's not likely to get so much terrorism in South Wales, but
but if I was a terrorist, I would look for places like that and say, they think I'm not turning up here. Aye.
Yeah, but he's got his share of armed cops in his places that are likely to be terrorist targets, hasn't he? Cardiff, Swansea, etc.
I just think that a policeman recently may have been alive if he would carried a sidearm. He's dead now because he was attacked in London Bridge area. They need our protection from us, giving them permission. That's pizza.
Yes. That's the choice the government make on our behalf, and obviously they've got to safeguard the population as a whole. And yeah, right, okay. Now I look every week for good news stories. I never find any. So
did it take you 4 hours?
All right. No, we do have a good news story, don't we? I know we talked about it last week, but the royal wedding is this Saturday in Windsor,
Oh,
and the world are watching.
yeah.
I think I'll be watching part of it, but I won't make a point of actually being there. If you know what I mean. So it's going to be on, but not necessarily.
Roll on Sunday.
Right, John's not watching it.
Roll on Sunday.
You can see we're all excited about it.
I can feel the enthusiasm for this wonderful event that's taking place in Windsor in England, an historic event with all the pageantry that that England can put on display and showing England at its best. The world's press is watching. There are thousands of them, all camped around Windsor. There are people who are lining the route as we're sat here. It's Thursday. It's 10. It's 10:30 in the morning. There are people who've staked their place on the route and are camping out until Saturday.
Well, they need to go and get a job.
I didn't say. I'm not being sexist here. No, I'm not going there. But no, it is a great occasion, and we do need something to celebrate. And it's just, well, I think it's just a good news story. Simple as.
It actually is a good news story because there's a lot happening there. Okay, there's the problems with their father, etc. But as a member of royalty, the courtiers must be tearing their hair out. A woman of mixed colour joining the royal family. Oh, me, there'll be papers ripped up and everything.
Wrong there. It's a divorcee of mixed colour joining the royal family.
Oh, my.
It's the American divorcee of mixed colour joining the royal family. That's
wow.
Yeah, that's what makes it a momentous occasion, because this is the first step in reunifying the USA and the UK. But we don't want to talk about that, do we? Because that's the
they'll be having committee meeting upon committee meeting upon committee meeting
on how to handle it. Right.
Yeah.
Dad's not going, by the way, Peter.
No, I still see the news. I still buy my son over here every day. I'm not getting the sun just now. It's went dark. It's maybe because of this conference. I was up to see Mount Tidy. Do you know Mount Tidy?
No.
That's the highest hill in the mountain in Spain, and it's also the volcano. Yeah, Mount Tidy, yeah. And fascinating place. 2,000 years the film was made there. BC, Rackle Welch, and fantastic place. But do you know what? Do you know the biggest laugh I had? There's signs everywhere. Keep to the paths. Don't go. It's a natural, like Scottish national heritage.
Yeah.
And a British tourist decided he would deny it, and he went up to this big rock, standing there getting his picture. Well, a park ranger came out and he blew the whistle, and he brought him down, and you could see him berating him. And the next thing, he's marching him off the cash machine. He said, no money. He says, cash machine's up here. And he says, if you don't, we'll just get the police. It was so funny. And that's just typical.
So he fined him on the spot?
On the spot. On the spot. Good. Because it's true. Because if people go off the path, and after so many years, the path would, they were quite right. It's of national importance to them, and yet we get our tourists just said, the place, if you've never been there, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. We preserve our national heritage, places like Stonehenge and Avebury. For argument's sake, if you take Stonehenge has got a rope around the perimeter.
Right.
And everybody abides by it. There is nobody would leg it over the rope.
No.
And there's nobody there there are rangers there to stop you, but they certainly Well, it just doesn't happen. But
Well, no, I just thought Sheila says to me, "You'd be good at his job, Peter, at Parkley." Hey, come here, you. What does that say? We've even written it in English for you.
Do park rangers carry guns in Spain, Peter?
No, not the park rangers, you know, but they're on radios. They were on radio,
yeah.
and it was quite funny. But that would have been me. And I said, "Look, it's in Spanish, and we've even done it in English for you. €150, please. Thank you."
Right. Could you live in that climate all year round, Peter?
Yeah, I've never felt so good. Absolutely. You would get bored. You would have to do something, but I just feel so good, you know, walking about in my shorts and the sun beating down. Oh, fantastic. Yeah,
And the weather's been really good here while you've been away.
I know.
Beautiful day again here.
Yeah.
Sun is shining. All is good.
Yeah, do as well. I always get a car now when I visit the island. One of the best days we went up to Santa Cruz, which is the capital, in a car. And then when we arrived there, everybody's shutting up because it's their siesta. So we caught a tram. I said, let's just jump in the tram. And we took a tram right up. It was all hell all the way up. All the locals, no English speaking. And when we got there, we went to a place called Laguna. And I was surprised how big it was. And it was absolutely beautiful. Big place. And then we came back down again with the locals. Fantastic.
Could you just drop?
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Peter, carry on, John. If you didn't join us in time, John.
No problem. Absolutely beautiful. It was well worth of it. So Pete's tip for today is if you go on holiday, get a car and go out and see the area. Don't stay in the local tourist bit. All right. Okay. Right. I'll let you carry on with your agenda.
No, I don't have an agenda. I'm just trying to second guess what John's hand signals mean. I'm going to bring him back to try and find out. Hello.
I answered the phone and all they said was bye.
It was one of those calls you're not supposed to answer.
Yeah.
We're still getting those, aren't we?
Can't believe it. Be interesting to see what happens with next May the 25th and see what happens. Do we still get loads of emails we don't want?
I've been laughing because I've been getting these calls over here and I let them ramble on. And then I go, can I tell you something? I'm lying in my bed in Tenerife and it's costing you to call here. I can put a phone down.
Well, it doesn't. It's costing you, isn't it?
No, I've got free data.
Right.
Unlimited data. I'm actually using my tethering here to tether to. It's better than a Wi-Fi. My data signal.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Peter.
No, on you go.
Talking of the dreaded GDPR, how many emails have you received asking you to confirm your subscription? I've got tons of them, and they don't need to, do they, John?
But I've also been sending them out as well, so I'm going to be keeping fairly stum on this particular topic.
Why is it a requirement?
Why is it a requirement? Because that's what the Europeans decided.
But surely if you've opted in already, that's sufficient.
That's okay. That's not a problem. If you're already opted in, you've got no problem. They don't need to even contact you. If you're a recent purchaser, they don't need to contact you.
Yeah.
But how long do you remain a customer for? There's been a great discussion going on Facebook on this, driven by one or two people that we know quite well. How long do you remain a customer? Because a customer you don't need to contact. But there's all sorts of discussions. You know, people are saying, well, the sales cycle is the extent of someone being a customer. Other people are saying the warranty period means the length of time somebody's a customer. And other people are saying the sales cycle, as in when you will next purchase, remains. So if you buy a certain item every 3 years, for that 3 years, you remain a customer. So there is no definition in GDPR of what and how long you remain a customer for.
So surface, but
there's thousands of things. If your address is info@fredblogs.co.uk, that does not require GDPR opt-in.
okay.
You can mail that till the cows come home. It is only where you can be identified. And that was a nice arm that came across there, Peter. It's only where you can identify an individual. So if it's Stewart Francis at fredblogs.co.uk, you need permission to mail that.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't put out emails.
Why?
I don't know. Oh, but I'll tell you what. I don't put out a lot of emails. I do get more since I put it on my front page. I get a lot more emails giving me work, which I do love.
But
I'm sick of
you should never be afraid to email people. It still is one of the best bringers of business that exists.
really. Do you know I don't have a database for it?
I sent out a GDPR email for a client yesterday. I got 2 inquiries for serious product back from the GDPR.
Well done.
Frog in the throat email. And they were serious inquiries for serious product.
Good. Oh, sun's coming out.
And
When
then
the sun
we're
beats.
trying to work out how we could be different from everybody else's GDPR letter.
Right.
And the truth is we've gone to bribery, Pete.
Oh, tell me more.
We're offering, if you reply to our GDPR letter, whether it's yes, please continue, or whether it's show me your information, which is something else that people can ask under the new GDPR rules, or whether it's go away and don't dirty my sunshine, they can all tick a box which allows them to be entered into our drawer where they can win one of 5 cool boxes worth £47 each.
Okay. Yeah.
So after the level of reply we'd hope for, but I think it's because everybody's doing the GDPR now.
Well, I have seen in social media people are getting fed up of getting the GDPR emails in.
Yes, although yesterday I have to say I saw a GDPR letter that absolutely made me laugh. Okay, and it was starting, the worst GDPR letter was the subject line. And then it was, please don't leave me, please don't leave me, we need you. I didn't reply, I'm afraid, but it did make me smile.
Very good. You've got to think out of the box.
Yeah, I mean, the next one I'm doing is for a sink manufacturer, part of a group that I look after. And we're going to literally draw a picture on there. And it's going to be, please don't let our relationship go down the plug hole.
Oh, you're grown.
I tell you what, these silly ones were the ones that I'm getting reactions from.
You don't have some sinks. You've made me think I'm caught in a trap with GDPR. All we want to know is, do you want to keep in touch?
Yeah, but I'm also asking for giving them the opportunity to update their address and phone numbers and anything. It's completely optional if they fit. And I would say that 98% of the people who are replying are updating their details willingly.
Okay, I must look at that when I go back.
Yeah.
Well, you can't mail people after the 25th from the 25th of May unless you've got their permission.
Well, but could you not write and ask for that permission after?
Yeah, of course you can. You can do that.
Yes.
And the other thing that most people don't realise is if someone fills, say, your form in on your website, or they email you, or at a show they hand you a business card, that is an invitation for one communication only. It is not an invitation to put me on your mailing list. You have to ask their permission in that one contact that they give you permission to make to be put onto your mailing list. Or regular.
It'll all come out in the wash and everybody will forget it.
what I've done with one of my clients who does regular shows is he gets lots of people give him business cards. And what he does now is he's got a very small piece of A6 that we designed together that where he clips the card to the corner, and underneath it says, under the Data Protection Act 2017, because that's what our GDPR actually is in the UK, I give you permission to contact me on a regular basis. And he gets the client to sign it there and then. And that is his proof of permission.
Yeah.
Not everybody signs it, I will add, but 9 out of 10 do.
Okay. Very
So
good.
little tricks that you can do to make sure you are being legal.
Right, we've now got 2 viewers. Hello, Billy. Right, the thing we forget is that GDPR is not just a European thing. It affects everybody around the globe who's actually dealing with Europe and selling to Europe. And as Tish has pointed out, Mitch Jackson did a show last week about how GDPR is affecting the US. And the thing I like about Mitch and his shows is that he is giving advice for free. And we've heard of people who are not doing that and actually advising people about GDPR whilst making some money.
I have to say I'm making money out of GDPR, but I'm writing complete systems for people, not just emailing, but I'm doing audits of PCs and all the other things that come into compliance.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen courses on it. We've seen people giving classes on it. And
the key misleading thing that most people misinterpretation is that most people think it's GDPR is only permission to mail. GDPR is about storage as well. How and where and what you store and why you store it, and do you have a legal reason to store that information? So it's not just permission to mail, but it's all about are you encrypting the data? Is it accessible, etc.?
Who's responsible for it? Who can access it?
Well, you need two. If you're more than a couple of people business, God blimey, Pete, what are you doing?
That's not going well, Peter. I've taken it off the screen.
Yeah. You effectively need a data protection officer, and you need a person who's responsible for that data, so that they check each other. Anyway, too deep GDPR now.
Okay, let's change
the
the topic.
About GDPR, buy the Scotsman's book. Fraser, that is. Not Fraser, that's in Dusty, but to the Fraser, whose surname escapes me. Come on, Steve.
Hey.
That's the word. No, we are not talking about that American geezer.
Fraser Hay.
Fraser Hay. Right, this is breaking. Well, it's not breaking news. In the last 24 hours, government have decided that betting machine stakes are cut to £2.
Good.
Now, it was a Labour government that introduced the ability to have 4 slot machines in every bookies in the UK, and the bookies said, great, and you could bet up to £100 at a throw. That has not worked very well and has fueled problems with gambling. So now, after the horse has bolted and thousands of people have been affected, Peter's gone. I hope that was a signal and not what the subject was about. I don't think so. They've now said it's down to £2. You maximum say, basically, and the industry are saying that the industry is saying that 21,000 jobs are at stake.
I have no idea. I've never bet in my life except when I was the young junior programmer at BOC Datasolve in 1974. I was the one that got sent up the bookies to place the bets on behalf of the rest of the programmers.
And Billy was saying most people bet online, but the temptation when you're in the book is to actually play the slots. I mean, we've count myself fortunate that I don't gamble, but there are many who do. I only have a flutter on the Grand National. That's my lot.
I don't even do the National Lottery. So I'm not in it, so I can't win it.
I did it in the first few weeks, but that's a long time ago.
I did it when it first started, but again, only for about 2 months.
Yeah. Welcome
Now
back,
the
Peter.
odds, now the with an extra number, the odds are so ridiculous. It's just not worth playing.
True. Peter's drinking his coffee. I mean,
Yes.
we can't do this. We can't sort of walk off and get another cup of coffee. The show comes to a grinding halt.
Hey, the young lady brought in the cup of coffee. Didn't you see her?
Oh yeah, he's got waitress service.
Can't you see? You saw her arm come across and drop the cup of coffee.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Just something I don't do often enough. This show is powered by BeLive TV, which is a good intro into the fact that the live video hub is now a BeLive TV project, not a Stephen J. Healey project. So I'm delighted to be working with BeLive to actually create the live video hub. So that's good news. And the live video hub is a place you can actually, when you go live on your own page, you can also go live on live video hub and get a new audience. I'm just waiting for Peter to come back. 3, 2, 1. We're just talking about a live video hub, Peter, and announcing to the world that it's a BeLive TV project, and we're moving forward with it, encouraging everybody. What we're trying to do is to actually change the way people watch live video. I mean, to watch this show, you can either go to the Blabbing for Britain page, yeah, or you can go to the live video hub. Now, if you go to the live video hub, then not only will you see our show, but you'll see shows by another 100 broadcasters, because we've now got 102 people actually broadcasting from there, and we've got between 12 and 15 shows a day going live, and the idea is to build it up so there'll be 200 broadcasters on there, and you'd have a choice of perhaps 20 shows a day. And then, as I said, we're going to do language hubs, so there'll be a German language hub, French language hub, and a Spanish one, and not only will you be able to watch Spanish broadcasts, but hopefully we'll be bringing in, plan to bring in some Spanish teachers as well, so that they can actually teach you. And this is a commercial enterprise, so if they want to give a few lessons for free and then charge you, then that's the natural way of things. But you will be able to immerse yourself in the language. So if you're learning Spanish, you can go to a beginner's class or an intermediate class or an advanced class, and then you can watch Spanish language BeLive TV broadcasts and get immersed in it. In fact, you could go on camera as a guest. So that's the project, and it's all ongoing, and I'll keep everybody informed as it actually progresses. Yeah, basically the situation is that we had the situation where 3 shows went out at the same time last week. So the first one to go live took the big slot. The other 3 show, you could watch them live there. You just press on it and it goes full screen. But the featured show, there can only be one featured show, was the first one to go live. And then when that finished, the second one took its place, and then the third one took its place. So you can watch all 3 big screen, but you just got 1 extra click if you're not the featured show. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it still works that way. So it's just 1 extra click, and it's all. Yeah. Well, that's it, the point that Tish is making. There's a broad array of live streams on the live video hub. I mean, everything that comes from BeLive in 5 is on the hub, and net friending is on the hub, but there are 102 in total. I'm encouraging more and more people to actually broadcast on there, so that effectively it becomes a live TV channel. Yeah. So if you don't want to watch YouTube, you don't want to watch TV, you can go to the live video hub and find something that interests you. And what we're working on. Right. Now we've got a problem, Peter. You cannot be seen or heard. Because we can hear you, which is good. We've only 10 minutes to go. Do you want to go out and come back in again, Peter, and see? Right, cheers. And Pete, Billy's saying it's a jinx. Right, could be. Right, so I'll take down the live video hub. Okay, so a new. All right, I've just done that one, done that one, done that one. That's our Brexit story while Peter's not here, because we can have a discussion.
A rant-free session.
They've already started planning dramas about Brexit to tell the story of Brexit. And Benedict Cumberbatch is going to play. We're talking about Brexit, Peter, but from a dramatic point of view, not from a real life point of view. Benedict Cumberbatch has been. He's actually going to play the Vote Leave Supremo in a Channel 4 Brexit drama.
He's going to do the.
Yeah.
He's going to be the Vote Leave Supremo.
Yeah.
Does that mean he's going to be? Is that again? Is it going to be a sarcastic play then?
I don't know. It's obviously behind the scenes look at how it actually happened, which would be interesting. Right, okay, and we have confirmation from Tish that you can now be seen and heard, Peter.
Okay, that's just what I think about Cumberbatch and these sort of people. Shut up! Shut up! Go and do your acting and don't try and convince other people because of what they think. Like that guy in America, he'd done a stage play and he come out in the end and he was giving it that. I would have stood up and said, "Shut up! I've come to see your acting and not what you think." Now get.
Yeah, but he's not writing it. He's just reading the words.
I know.
I take your point. Actors and politics not necessarily a good mix.
Because I'll tell you, when it goes wrong, they soon shut up. Yeah. When they find out they were wrong, that's funny. Like Jane Fonda during the Vietnam War. Bet you not a lot of people remember that.
Oh, I do.
Do you?
Yeah. I was there. Well, not in Vietnam War, but in the reporting of it. And Billy's got a question, Peter.
Yeah.
What do you really think? Billy's sense of humour. I'm going to leave that on the screen for a moment. Oh dear. Yeah, it's nice to have one of Billy's quotes as the screen.
While you're on the acting bit, what are your thoughts about Hugh Grant and Jeremy Thorpe? And have you seen the pictures?
No.
I've seen them.
I think he looks more like Arthur Daly than he does like Jeremy.
Oh, right, yeah.
Well, this would, I mean, the story they're telling, I mean, Angelica said, because she wasn't in the UK at the time, is that a true story? I had to say, yes, it is.
Yeah.
The story that I comment on, it's the fact that Hugh Grant doesn't look like Jeremy Thorpe at all.
Yeah.
He really does look like Arthur Daly with his hat and his coat, and I'm just looking for Minder to pop up next door to him, you know.
Yeah. But it just shows you how far things go back, corruption. And it happened in every bit of politics and goes right back. It's just that we find out about it quicker now. It's so easy to get caught now. The things that went on. You know,
It is.
Yeah. Do you think that nobody knew about Cyril Smith?
I think I'm incredulous that nobody knew. I don't. I think somebody somewhere knew. I think that certain people are protected.
Yeah.
It wasn't it in his case that the local chief superintendent was also involved in the same ring, and that's
Yeah.
why he probably remained silent.
Yeah. Was yeah.
Anyway, going back to football, have you seen the latest comment? Benitez for West Ham.
Oh,
Don't know whether it's true or not, but that's what they're all forecasting this morning.
okay. Well, as long as it's not Dyke for West Ham, I'm quite happy. Because he's got to stay at Burnley now. There's a campaign going on that the manager of the Burnley Football Club should be given the freedom of Burnley, which obviously is an honour given to few. But after what he's done for the club in the last 4 or 5 years, he should have been made a free man of the town. But West Ham, Everton.
I can't believe they got rid of Moyes personally, but hey ho.
Indeed.
He did only have a contract. He did only have a contract to the end of the season, so he can't really complain, can he?
Nope, this is true. Anyway, and somebody else who can't really complain because he's in the sun at the moment. And we're in the sun too, but we're not in sunny Tenerife. So, Peter, from sunny Tenerife, thoughts for the weekend?
Thoughts for the week. If you haven't had a holiday for years, have one. You need to wind down. You need to relax. You need to rejuvenate. To go back and fight them on the beaches.
Sound advice. And advice from me is just get out and about, wherever you are. Get active and enjoy the countryside. And if the weather's good, just go for it and do it. And it's over to Mr. Upton to.
Well, I'd like to remind everybody to water their plants because it's so warm, so hot that both your indoor plants and your garden plants need a drink. And some food as well, but don't feed them without having watered them first because all you'll do is burn them. Right? Are we over now then, chaps, or have we still got 3 minutes left?
We've still got 3 minutes left, but unless I'm just getting the closing in before we.
Thank you for the wishes, Tish. I'll keep you up to date, and I'll send you a message once I know what's going on with the dog.
Right. No, I think we're good. I think we're good. So
it's goodbye from him. It's goodbye from him. It's goodbye from him, and goodbye from him, and him, and him, and him, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.